Welcome to another writing lecture with Professor Dennis. For this segment, we're going to look at the different ways you can use comparisons in your paper. Comparisons are a mode of writing that allow you to illuminate subtle differences, uncover unexpected similarities, and show how to relate unrelated sides have a common ground. There are a few different tools I'd like to introduce you to help you make these comparisons. They are the Venn diagram, the chart, and the outline. No matter what, when it comes to writing, you should always select the mode of organization and planning that best suits you and your writing style. As everyone is different, it's important to cover all three of these and provide you with a variety that you can play around with and test out. The Venn diagram is probably one of your best tools for brainstorming. On one side of your diagram, you would put everything that you can think about for your claim. On the other side, you would fill in everything that you know about the counterclaim. In the center, where the two overlap, is where you want to focus on the commonalities of the argument. Ask yourself what both sides have in common. This is something you might not know until you research a little bit deeper. The point of this form of the diagram is to help you see the common ground. Once you dig into your research, you might find that you're slightly surprised by the commonalities you find. The good news is, if you were surprised by these commonalities, your reader will be too. Those are the items that you'll want to use for your common ground, which oftentimes makes for a great introduction. The next organizational tool I'd like to introduce you to is the chart. The chart is a great form of organization for anyone who wants a fast reference of what they're going to write about and in what order. This is a very basic construct with a powerful effect. For the first column, instead of point 1, 2, and 3, you would put your main points that you want to focus on for each of your subtopics. The blueprint of reasons from your thesis statement. Next, you would fill in the information you found, solid facts and data for the claim. Now, you might have multiple facts and data for your claim. If that's the case, you're going to need multiple rows for this subtopic, as you see here. That's perfectly acceptable and encouraged. Next, you would fill in the information you found for the counterclaim for the specific subtopic. What is the other side saying about this subtopic specifically? And how do you know? What research did you find that backs up their stance and beliefs? Finally, you'll fill in the last column, the rebuttal, with information you found that helps to refute what the other side is saying. You'll want to repeat this step for each subtopic you have. It's important to note that you might not have a counterclaim and rebuttal for each individual point within your subtopic. That's perfectly normal. The entire point of this form of organization is to help you see where your puzzle pieces for each part of your paper fit together. I've filled in one graphic organizer chart with very generic examples of what a completed chart for one subtopic might look like. You'll notice that I only have one counterclaim area filled in. The next thing I'd like to tell you is that this form of organization is one of the better forms for helping you break free from the 5-paragraph essay. You see, I could turn each individual box into a paragraph all by itself if I have enough data. This gives me 5 paragraphs for this one subtopic alone. If I did this for a total of 3 subtopics, I would have at least 15 paragraphs of paper. That's more than enough to reach the end goal for the paper you're working on. As a matter of fact, you might find that point 2 for this subtopic works better as all 1 paragraph, or maybe as 2 paragraphs. That part is really going to depend on you, your topic, your research, and your depth of elaboration on your research. The point is that you can use this to break away from the confines of the 5-paragraph essay and find a new modality of writing that will really expand your abilities and your thoughts. Next is the outline, and the outline is one of the most commonly known forms of organization. This particular outline is meant to help when you are contrasting your information in preparation for writing out your paper. When looking at how to compare with an outline, you would have a setup similar to this. The subtopic would be at the top to help provide you with a focus. Everything in this segment would tie back to this one subtopic. You would then have your claim for that specific subtopic. In addition, under that, you would provide the support and data that would help to prove your claim. You might have 2 or 3 pieces of data for this point. I just didn't have enough room to put it on the slide. This evidence is key to helping your audience see why you believe the way you do. Of course, in order to show that you are a well-read and well-rounded individual, you will also have to offer a counterclaim. This is the oppositional data for this specific subtopic. In order to avoid bias, you would need to provide support and data for this counterclaim that shows why the opposition believes the way they do. I want to point out that in order to really be fair here, your counterclaim data has to be as well researched as the data you're providing on your claims. If you do not provide solid, researched information for your counterclaim, your reader is likely to see you as biased and decide not to continue reading your piece. That would mean that you've lost your audience and were unable to sway them to your side, or at least to help them understand why you believe the way you do on this topic. In addition, I want to point out that you can again have a solid modality of breaking free from the 5-paragraph essay with this construct, if you focus on having a paragraph per lettered item. That would give you a solid 3 paragraphs per subtopic. If you do the math on this, you would have approximately 9 paragraphs for your body paper. Now, my caution is not to box yourself in like you might be used to with a 5-paragraph essay. No, instead, I want you to play around with the constructs and the tools that are given so that you can see what it takes and however many paragraphs it takes to get your point across to your audience. These are really just tools to help you get where you're going. It's on you to figure out what that journey will look like and ultimately how long it will take. No matter what method you choose to use for the organization of your paper, these 3 methods of comparison can really help you to bring in some key elements such as direct comparisons, stark contrasts, and startling common ground. Play around with these various methods provided to see which method works best for you. You might find that you like a combination of all 3, or that you favor one above the other. However it works for you, make sure that you are doing the best you can for your paper and your writing. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please make sure that you click on that email icon in the learning management system so that your professor gets your emails. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side.